everybody. Welcome to New Media Patriot Radio, the show about you, the concerned citizen, the silent majority, the politically incorrect, the social media patriot fighting every single day to restore American values and exceptionalism. You can follow us on Twitter at ThePatriot143 or on our show page at NMP Radio. It stands for New Media Patriot Radio. I want to thank ConservativeRadioNetwork.com for syndicating my show on their network. Visit them today. You can listen to me on Spreaker or directly right on their site. If you're going to listen to me on Spreaker, simply go to Spreaker.com and type in New Media Patriot Radio, or simply visit ConservativeRadioNetwork.com. Also, I want to thank Rebooting Liberty for syndicating my show on their network as well. I am your host, Chris, and the number to call is 347-338-1775. All right. A lot of things have been going on. I mean, it's a good feeling when your Twitter followers and your friends on Twitter and fellow patriots send you a message and say, hey, where you been? We've missed you. How come you haven't had a show in a couple of days? It's good to know that I'm missed. I mean, I'm a human being. I like to be loved, like every creature on this planet. So I've been busy doing personal things. I'm house hunting, and I've been going to a lot of open houses and all that stuff. And I forgot how chaotic shopping for a new home can be, but that's where I've been. I'm not going anywhere, and unfortunately, because of that and because of my work schedule, I'm on. During the week, I could be on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, depending if I'm working or not. But if I'm working, I'm obviously not on. You can listen to some archives on Spreaker.com. But it's always the same time, 7 p.m. So you can always tune in at 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. If I am not working, I'm on the radio. So that's a good way to keep tabs on me. But anyway, again, I'm your host, Chris, and welcome to the Silent Majority here. The phone lines are jam-packed already. I want to just tell the callers that I'm going to try to get to you, but we have a packed show. We have a very, 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 amazing show today. We have pro Cruz super PACs that are spending millions to sway and bribe and poach Donald Trump delegates. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about the Ted Cruz and John Kasich joint venture, so to speak, the Never Voters campaign to stop Donald Trump from getting that the magic number of 1227. But before we get to all that, again, the number to call is 338-1775. Before we get to all that, I want to welcome in at this time my co-host for the night, Katja Lee. How are you, Katja? It's been a while.
Doing great. How are you doing? I'm really looking forward to tonight's conversation.
I know, and I told you off air that you're a trooper, man. I mean, last week you were under the weather, but you still made it onto the show, and I want to thank you for doing that. And like you said, the show must go on, but I want to thank you for joining me once again, my co-host. How was your weekend?
My weekend was incredible. It's been very beautiful here in Ohio. And sunny weather in the 70s.
Awesome.
Just everybody's out and about, getting their yards ready. It's just been incredible. How about you?
I've had an awesome weekend of house hunting, as I mentioned in the open, but we really don't have time to talk about that because we have a jam-packed show. At this time, I want to welcome in one of my guests for the night. He's been on my show before. He is known as I don't want to call him what I called him last time. He didn't like that name, but he is he is the election expert. He is on top of the polls. Is that better? Or is that just, did I just make it worse?
That's how you Oh my God.
Did I just make it worse?
We need to just get away from that whole meeting.
I know. We're done. I'm going to refer to you as the Donald Trump expert. How's that?
Okay, that's fine.
All right. My Donald Trump.
Now, Bill,
oh my God.
Now, Bill, what is your nickname that I gave you?
What was it? I'm like spacing it off. What did you call me?
The Guru.
The Guru.
Oh, the Guru, yeah. Yeah, well, on the other show that I do, they call me the Big Yeti because I use this Yeti microphone.
Yes, the Big Yeti, indeed.
Big Yeti.
And by the way, if you don't know, my buddy there, Bill Mitchell, he is a co-host on the Wayne Dupree Show. If you don't know who he is, then you've been hiding under a rock. But he does a great job on there. But let's get right into it, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Silent Majority. As we mentioned, that there's been a lot of stories regarding bribery and of delegates and all this stuff. And I'm lucky enough to have a guest on the show who basically experienced that firsthand. Bill, before we get to my guest, how do you feel about what's been going on with this? I mean, people say, well, this is the way it's been done for years. I mean, if you think about it, in any profession, if you bribe somebody, you go to jail. And in politics, it seems to be that it's okay to do it in politics. How do you feel about that, Bill?
Well, the weird thing is that on a national basis, and I was shocked to learn this, that apparently, it's no holds barred. I mean, you can offer anybody any sum of money, to buy or a delegate to buy their vote, and it's quite shocking. But the interesting thing is that Ohio has got a law that a delegate cannot be remunerated in any way: hotel room, cover expenses, free deck of playing cards, nothing. Okay, in Ohio. So the problem that Cruz and these guys may have that have paid, all expenses paid and hotels paid and all this stuff of all these delegates coming to Ohio is that at the Cleveland Convention, those delegates may by law be disallowed.
Right.
Because they're not. So that little funny little Ohio law may end up being a big deal. We haven't talked about it much, but just on the surface of it, it's hard to believe that something like this is legal. It just seems so incredibly unethical.
Right. And Katja Lee, my co-host, tell me, what's your feelings regarding this before I bring in my guest regarding this whole thing? How do you feel about that? Do you think that the whole system needs to be revamped in terms of how the delegates are chosen, and whether they can be bribed, quote unquote bribed, to vote for a particular candidate?
I think it's a sham. I think that it just goes to to all the feelings and thoughts for across America that folks have being disenfranchised when they vote. Does our vote even matter? I mean, here we have millions of people that have voted for Mr. Trump more than any other candidate. Looking at some things today, it looks like by 3 or 4 million, maybe it's a little bit more, Republicans have voted more than Democrats in this primary.
5 million,
then just
actually.
To find out that, is it? So just to find out that, does our vote even matter? Over 2 million more people voted for Mr. Trump, but does that really matter? So you can go bribe somebody and say, hey, I'll give you, money. I'll give you a car. How about a job?
Right.
How about a visit to the White House? I mean, what does that say about who we are as a nation, that we're going to allow that kind of stuff? And we're supposed to be, have the... everyone looks to us, to America, because, we're that shining star on the hill, as Mr. Ronald Reagan has said. What kind of shining star are we where we allow bribery to get people to vote for you from a delegate standpoint? I think it's just extremely disgusting and actually quite astonishing. As Bill was saying, I'm shocked by how this has been going on for years.
Exactly.
It's shocking.
Exactly. And for better or for worse, I've said this in the past, because of Donald Trump, a lot of people have awoken in terms of realizing how messed up the system is as a whole. And for better or for worse, you have to thank Donald Trump for exposing the fraud that's been taking place. But before I get to my guest, I want to pick up really quickly, because the phone lines are jam-packed. If I don't get to all the calls, I'm sorry. But at this time, I want to pick up, before I get to my guest, Mario from Jersey. Welcome to the Silent Majority.
Hey, how you doing?
We're doing great. You have a comment or a question?
Yeah, I have a question in regards to the buying out the delegates. Now, tell me if I got my information wrong, or maybe Bill got his wrong. But those, technically, the delegates are not supposed to communicate directly with the candidates, right? But the super PACs are the ones that are buying the hotel rooms and all that. They could buy all the stuff, but not the not the presidential candidates. They can't directly buy.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, so because that's how they circumvented the whole thing. This is why they had to go out and do that message. They can't communicate directly with the super PACs. This is what I've seen on CNN and Fox, and that they go out to the news and they say, hey, we're joining forces, pretty much telling them they'll locate resources to a different
Well, I was going to get to that, and I was going to get to that later on in regards to what Kasich said. He sent out a memo, actually. Let me see if I can find it here, in which he states that. In the memo, he states Donald Trump doesn't have the support of the majority of Republicans, not even close, but he currently does have almost half the delegates because he's benefited from the existing primary system, which means that though that's the voice of the people, obviously. What he was referring to is that he does poorly where they can rig the system in caucuses and all that stuff. But he also he includes in the message, included in the Kasich announcement, is a request to the super PACs spending on behalf of both never voter candidates, which is Ted and Kasich. So yeah, we've spoken about this on the show where they've actually blurred the lines and you are correct. They're not supposed to communicate with each other, but like everything else in politics, the lines typically get blurred and it never really gets enforced. Bill?
Yeah, I mean, I read that too, where they're not supposed to communicate, but. Ted Cruz, this is the same guy that got $1 million loan from Goldman Sachs, apparently a sweetheart loan. God only knows what the interest rate was, probably negative. Right. Because it was wife's association and all this stuff. Supposed to declare the FEC. Oops. Mr. Cross every T and dot every I just forgot the hugest loan of his entire life. Right. And now they're going through all these legal wranglings to make sure that before the election, they never have to report the nature of it. So
yeah, they're slow walking it. As we mentioned on previous show, they're slow walking the investigation. Ted Cruz knows what he's doing. He's an attorney and he knows how to circumvent the system to make it work for him. But I want to thank Mario for calling on to the show. Thank you for calling the Silent Majority.
Thanks. Have a good one.
Before I get to my guest now, I want to play this brief clip. It's a Cruz supporter speaks out. This is from the Conservative Treehouse. Cruz supporter speaks out and reveals the dirty plot to steal the election. I'm going to play this clip, and then we're going to get to Kelly, who actually is a delegate from Texas. But we're going to play this clip right now.
Coordinator in Douglas County, and undecided. I was always a Cruz supporter, but in the whole process have become undecided, especially when I got an email and really heard a lot of people at the caucus night talking about how we needed to keep Trump supporters from being elected as delegates. And I totally disagree with that. I think we have to let the process work. I think we have to let the people speak.
So there you have it. This was a woman who attended the Stop the Steal rally in Colorado on the state capitol on April 15. She was a delegate for Douglas County, and she basically became disenfranchised. And at this time, I want to welcome in my guest of the hour here, Kelly. Kelly, welcome to the Silent Majority. Kelly Buckley, welcome to the Silent Majority.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, welcome to the Silent Majority. So as you heard, this particular lady, she was kind of disenfranchised because of all the stuff that was going on, in the Ted Cruz camp in terms of delegates and bribing delegates. So you're here because you have an interesting story. Tell us, how did you become a delegate in the first place?
After our voting, our precinct each, they invite them up, have their first meeting, and you put in to be voted for to be a delegate. And then after your precinct, you go to county, and then, from county, we'll go to state next in just a couple weeks.
Okay. And then
each time you get voted on.
Okay.